The World War III happened due to various reasons. Because of the rapid decrease in the planet's temperature that started in the 2030s, the world's crop situation had taken a turn for the worse. First world countries, thanks to advances in sunlight plants for agricultural production, saw only limited damage, but in newly developing countries, whose quick economic growth had been accelerating explosions in their populations, the impact had been devastating. The place that faced the worst predicament had been northern China, where cooling and desertification had been happening at the same time. Those living in that region had tried to overcome the crisis with their own ethnic traditions. They did so through border-crossing immigration, in other words, illegal immigration. Russia, however, decided not to allow an influx of illegal entrants. Even in the uninhabited wilderness, they aggressively eliminated any illegal immigrants who would have stolen the whole house if they were given any space under the eaves. They used force regardless of the blood they shed. China censured Russia in the name of human rights, and Russia criticized China in the name of international law. Their antagonism didn't stop at their borders, either. The same situation was repeated elsewhere. Fuses were being lit all over the world. Its backdrop was the food shortage caused by the climate shift, but nations were scrambling for energy resources as well. It only took a minor event for the clock to strike midnight. In AD 2045, World War III, the 20 years global war outbreak, began. The years from 2045 to 2065 were a tumultuous era comprising large-scale national conflicts worldwide. It was a true world war in which not a single country could remain as a bystander. By the end of the war, the world's population had decreased to 1/3 of what it was at the beginning of the bloodshed in 2045, to 3 billion people. Russia reabsorbed the Ukraine and Belarus to become the new Soviet Union, NSU. China seized control of northern Burma, northern Vietnam, northern Laos, and the Korean Peninsula to become the Great Asian Alliance, GAA. India and Iran engulfed the Central Asian nations to form the Indo-Persian Federation. The USA absorbed Canada and Mexico to become the United States of North America, USNA, and they all expanded. In contrast, the European Union failed to unite, splitting into an eastern and a western portion. In Africa, half of the countries were destroyed along with their states, while South America, Brazil excluded, had plummeted into a concatenation of microstates governed at the local level. Thanks to the earnest efforts of an international group of magicians, the 20 years global war, which changed the world so completely, didn't escalate into thermonuclear war. In AD 2046, the International Magic Association was born. Its goal was to forcibly prevent the usage of weapons with radioactive properties that would damage the planet's environment beyond recovery. Within the bounds of their stated purpose to halt the use of nuclear weapons, magicians freed themselves from the yokes of the countries they belonged to and were permitted to intervene with their skills in border disputes. Even magicians on the front lines taking part by killing each other would cease their skirmish when they observed signs of the use of nuclear weapons. Whether it was their own country or their enemy's country, they would cooperate to stop the deployment of nuclear weapons. Thus, in the period of war that lasted 20 years, there was not a single usage of nuclear weapons.